In this lesson, we are going to introduce page numbers to the body of our book. Let's get started by opening the Docs folder and jumping into the manuscript. Please note that this could get a little bit tricky because of the section breaks that we introduced. I've opened the document and we are inside the front matter, scrolling through past the half title page, the additional books page, the title page, and in this section, we are not going to include any page numbers. We are going to start our page numbering from the very first chapter after the table of contents. Pause for a second and recall that our sample project includes 3 short stories. Currently, the first story is listed as being on page 10, the second story on page 34, and the third story on page 41. After this page break, there is a section break that takes us to a right-facing page where our first story starts. Ideally, our first chapter should begin on a right-facing page, and to format this book, we are going to begin our page numbering at page 1. So when we update this section to be page 1, counting onward, it means our table of contents should also update to be page 1. When we update chapter 1 or the very first story to start on page 1, it means our table of contents will have to be updated. So we are on the very first story. We want to modify the footer to include page numbers. On the ribbon or toolbar, I'm going to jump over to Insert. Before inserting the page numbers, it is crucial that I unlink this section from the previous section, which is the front matter. So I'm just going to click on footer and choose the option to edit footer. Currently, this first page footer says same as previous. So if I were to insert page numbers here, it means it will automatically appear in the front matter of our book. So I'm just going to unlink that. I must unlink them for this first section. If I don't do this, page numbers will appear in the front matter of my book, and I don't want that. When I selected the option to modify the header and footer, it opened a new tab for me. Under page number, on the left-hand side of the toolbar, I'm going to click Format Page Numbers. And I am going to say Start at page 1. If I were to choose Continue from Previous Section and insert the page number at the bottom of the page, it would start from page 11. If that is what you want, that's absolutely fine. Work with it. What I want to do is start my page numbering at page 1. So I'll go back to Format Page Numbers and say Start at 1. Click OK, and it modifies my page number to start at page 1. Something to pay attention to in Microsoft Word is when I insert page numbers, I notice that it also includes a new paragraph mark. So you want to remove that, and if necessary, adjust the size of your font. I'll remove that paragraph mark by hitting Delete on my keyboard. I'm going to highlight the text, and I'm going to modify the font family to be Garamond, size 11. Back on the toolbar, I'm going to select Header and Footer. Then I'll jump to the next footer section, which is the even page footer. And I'm going to go through that process of inserting the page number at the bottom of the page, continuing from the previous section, which inserts page 2. As you format your book, remember to remove this additional paragraph marker. That's why it's so important to have Show Formatting Marks visible. I'll remove that. I could immediately make changes to my font family and font size, choosing Garamond, size 11. Let's jump back to the header and footer and verify if our odd page footer includes a page number. It doesn't. So I'm going to go through the process again of inserting a page number at the middle of the page in the footer. Remember to remove that paragraph mark, highlight your font, jump over to Home, change your font to Garamond 11. This font could be easily anything that you desire. I'm working with Garamond. Back on the header and footer menu in the toolbar, I'm going to look at my next sections to ensure that they carry page numbers. Because they are linked to the previous section, the page numbers appear as expected. The font family and the font size is correct. The even page footer has a page number. The odd page has a page number. And now on my third story, Mouse in the House, that first page carries a page number to the bottom, as well as the odd page footer. The last thing to test and to pay special attention to is the front matter of our book. We're going to jump over there to ensure that it does not include page numbers. By clicking previous, I've jumped all the way back to page 1, our half title page, which does not include page numbers. Great news. Similarly, page 2, the even page footer, does not include page numbers, as well as the odd page footer does not include page numbers. The next section should take me to the very first story, A Case for Exemption, where the page numbering starts at page 1. So I could close this header and footer and rest easy that everything is as expected. The last thing we want to do in this lesson is scroll up to our table of contents. I'm going to hide the show formatting marks just for a bit. You would notice that the first story starts on page 10. So we need to update this table of contents. To update your table of contents, right-click, choose Update Field, and update page numbers only. There we go. From your table of contents, you could jump to different stories. You could jump to different chapters. You hold down the Control key and click on the story or chapter that you would like to jump to, and it takes you there. So I'm pleased to tell you that we have reached the end of formatting the body matter of our book. In the next lesson, we will talk about including an About the Author page.